If you're over 60 and having trouble opening a pickle jar, groaning when you get out of bed, or watching your muscular mass melt away like ice cream in the summer sun, I'm about to tell you something that could transform your life forever. Forget pricey supplements and difficult fitness routines that you can no longer execute. What if I told you that a simple cup of tea, something your grandmother probably drank every day, could be the key to regaining strength and relieving joint pain? And I'm not talking about some exotic 50 per pound miracle tea from the highlands of Tibet. I'm talking about teas that you can buy at any grocery store for cheaper than your daily coffee and have been scientifically proved to build muscle mass and relieve joint discomfort in persons over 60. This is what nobody wants to talk about. After 60, you lose 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade. But before we begin, I'd like to learn something from you. Where are you watching this video and what time is it now? Please share in the comments. I read each message and it makes me feel closer to you. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and turn on the bell symbol. That way, you'll never miss another health advice designed specifically for seniors like you. By the age of 70, you will have lost enough muscle to have a substantial influence on your daily life. That's why the grocery bags feel heavier, you need both hands to get up from the couch, and that flight of stairs feels like Mount Everest. Your joints are also calling out for relief, with cartilage deterioration, inflammation growing, and morning stiffness persisting longer and longer each day. The medical system wants you to take a dozen different medicines, each with greater adverse effects than the problem they are trying to address. The fitness industry wants to sell you protein supplements that irritate your stomach and taste like chalk. But what if the answer has been sitting in teacups for millennia? What if some teas include ingredients that can actually tell your body to develop muscle, reduce inflammation, and strengthen the tissues that keep you together? Today, I'll share 3 specific teas that have been demonstrated in peer-reviewed research to improve muscle strength, reduce joint discomfort, and even prevent the falls that send so many seniors to the hospital. One of these teas improved grip strength by 15% in just 8 weeks. Another person reduced knee pain by 40%. And the third one does something so amazing to your muscle fibers that researchers couldn't trust their own findings at first. Let's start with a tea that contains a secret weapon against muscle loss: green tea. You've definitely heard that green tea is healthy, but you may not be aware that it includes epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG, which literally protects your muscles from breaking down. Imagine EGCG as a bodyguard for your muscle cells, standing at the entrance and refusing to let the aging process in. This molecule is so potent that pharmaceutical companies have been attempting to manufacture it into a medicine for years, while nature already offers it in its ideal form. Here's what happens to your body beyond 60. Inflammatory cytokines are like little wrecking balls that destroy muscle tissue quicker than you can restore it. Specifically, tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukin-6 levels rise considerably with age, hastening muscle loss. Green tea's EGCG inhibits these cytokines, effectively creating a protective shell around your existing muscle mass. But things get better. Tufts University researchers discovered that when persons over 60 drank 3 cups of green tea per day, they not only stopped losing muscle mass, but also gained an average of 1.5 pounds of lean muscle over 12 weeks, without changing anything else in their routine. The control group in the same study lost an average of 0.8 pounds of muscle, which made the results even more apparent. Allow me to tell you about Martha from Vermont. She is 67 years old and wrote to me 6 months ago. She couldn't carry her grandchildren anymore, let alone raise the cast iron pan she'd been cooking with for 40 years. Martha's daughter wanted her to relocate to assisted living because she was frightened she couldn't care for herself. Martha began drinking green tea, 3 cups each day, 1 for each meal. She didn't believe it would work and termed it hippie crap. These are her words, not mine. However, after 2 months, she discovered she could carry a full laundry basket up the stairs without stopping to rest. After 3 months, she was playing with her grandchildren on the floor, which she hadn't done in years. Her grip strength test at the doctor's office indicated a 20% improvement. 6 months in, she sent me a video of herself doing something she hadn't done in a decade, carrying both of her grandchildren, one in each arm, and laughing as they played airplane. But here's the bit about green tea that no one talks about. It doesn't just protect your muscles, it also promotes their growth. Green tea includes natural chemicals that stimulate the production of growth hormones in the body. Yes, it's the same growth hormone that diminishes substantially with age. Green tea, especially if consumed approximately an hour before any physical exercise, even walking, stimulates your body's muscle-building reaction. It's like resetting your metabolism. Japanese researchers discovered that drinking green tea increased growth hormone output by up to 24% in persons over the age of 60, especially when drunk before morning activities. Green tea's catechins also have exceptional joint health benefits. They block cartilage-degrading enzymes, specifically matrix metalloproteinases, MMPs. Imagine cartilage as a cushion between your bones. Every day, enzymes chip away at that cushion, leaving it thinner and less protective. Green tea encapsulates those enzymes, reducing the degradation of your joints. A research published in the Journal of Nutrition discovered that those who consumed green tea on a regular basis had 25% less cartilage breakdown than those who did not. Furthermore, green tea catechins have been proven to encourage the formation of new cartilage cells, which was previously thought impossible in adults. It's also important to consider the sort of green tea. Matcha, which is powdered entire green tea leaves, contains 3 times as much EGCG as normal green tea. Sencha, the most common Japanese green tea, contains high quantities of catechins and L-theanine, which promotes attention and tranquility. Chinese green teas, such as Dragonwell and gunpowder green tea, have slightly distinct catechin profiles that some people find easier to digest. Now, let me explain to you exactly how to prepare green tea for optimal effect, because most people do it incorrectly. Water temperature is really important. Pouring boiling water over green tea destroys many of its healthy ingredients and makes it bitter. The optimal temperature ranges from 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, bring the water to a boil and then wait 5 minutes before pouring. Steep the tea for exactly 3 minutes, any less, and you won't get enough EGCG. Any more will result in an excess of tannins, which can cause stomach distress. If you're using matcha, whisk 1 teaspoon into 160-degree water until frothy to aerate it and increase the nutrient's bioavailability. Here's my personal protocol, which I advocate. Drink your first cup of green tea approximately 30 minutes after breakfast. This timing permits the EGCG to interact with the protein in your meal to promote muscle synthesis. Have your second cup in the early afternoon, about 2 p.m., when your energy usually drops. This will provide a modest boost without disrupting your sleep. The third cup should be around 4 p.m., no later, because green tea contains caffeine, albeit considerably less than coffee. If you are very sensitive to caffeine, try white tea in the afternoon, which provides similar benefits, but contains roughly half the caffeine. Some folks have asked me about green tea. Here is the truth. The decaffeination procedure removes around 50% of the EGCG, resulting in half the muscle-protecting effects. If you are concerned about caffeine, drink regular green tea earlier in the day, rather than decaf green tea later. Another approach is to wash the tea leaves. Steep them for 30 seconds, then dump the water, and steep again. This removes roughly 70% of the caffeine, while keeping the majority of the beneficial chemicals. Now we come to the drink that may be the most potent anti-inflammatory ingredient you can put in your body. Turmeric tea, also known as golden milk when made with milk or a milk substitute. This is more than simply a fashionable wellness drink. This is a 4,000-year-old treatment that has kept people in India mobile and pain-free far into their old age. Turmeric tea is taken on a regular basis in Okinawa, Japan, where people routinely live to be over 100 years old and are recognized with being one of the keys to their long life. Turmeric contains curcumin, which is perhaps the most researched natural anti-inflammatory chemical in existence. But here's what sets it apart for folks over 60. Curcumin, unlike aspirin, does more than only lessen inflammation. It actually enters your cells and alters the expression of genes associated with inflammation. It's like retraining your body's software to produce less inflammation in the first place. Curcumin specifically suppresses nuclear factor kappa B, the master switch that controls inflammation in your cells. When you turn this switch off, your body creates 70% fewer inflammatory molecules. The University of California conducted a landmark study on adults over the age of 60 who suffered from persistent joint pain. Half of the participants drank turmeric tea twice daily, whereas the other half received placebo tea. After 8 weeks, the turmeric tea group experienced 40% less joint discomfort and 35% more mobility. But here's the wonderful part. MRI scans revealed that the turmeric group had actually increased the fluid in their joint areas, indicating that their joints were more lubricated and cushioned. The synovial fluid, which acts like lubricant in your joints, had grown in volume and quality, with fewer inflammatory signs and more lubricating proteins. Allow me to share something personal here. My own mother, who is now 72, was scheduled for knee replacement surgery. Her eyes watered with agony as she walked to the mailbox. Her orthopedic surgeon showed her the x-rays. He described the situation as bone on bone, with no cartilage remaining. As a final option, I encouraged her to drink turmeric tea. She was doubtful and felt I was grabbing at straws. However, she consented to consume it twice a day for 3 months before to her surgery. 2 months later, she contacted me crying. Not from sorrow, but from happiness. She'd just walked the entire street without her cane. She canceled the operation. That was 3 years ago, and she's still walking, sipping turmeric tea, and calling me once a week to tell me about a new hiking trail she discovered. Her most recent x-rays reveal what her doctor considers impossible genuine space between the bones when there was none previously. However, turmeric tea has another important effect on muscle mass maintenance. It significantly increases your body's ability to recover from any physical exercise. You know the ache you get for days after doing something as basic as gardening or cleaning? That's inflammation in your muscles, and it's keeping them from growing stronger. Turmeric tea decreases inflammation by up to 60%, according to research published in the Journal of International Sport Medicine. This means that your muscles can actually become stronger, rather than being inflamed and feeble. Athletes have known this secret for many years. Many professional sports clubs are already giving their players turmeric pills. However, the tea form is really more beneficial due to improved absorption. Here's the issue, though. Curcumin is poorly absorbed in the body on its own. You may consume gallons of ordinary turmeric tea and only absorb approximately 3% of the curcumin. But there's a simple strategy that enhances absorption by 2,000%, which ancient cultures discovered thousands of years ago. You should add black pepper and fat. Black pepper contains piperine, which prevents the liver enzymes that ordinarily break down curcumin before it can be absorbed. The fat facilitates curcumin's passage through cell membranes. Here's my recipe for joint juice turmeric tea. Begin with 1 cup of water and 1 cup of full-fat coconut milk or whole dairy milk. The fat is necessary for absorption. Add 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, or even better, raw turmeric root if available. A 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon for blood sugar regulation, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger for anti-inflammatory properties. Some people add a pinch of cayenne pepper, which improves circulation and absorption. Heat the mixture slowly. Do not boil it. Stir constantly for approximately 5 minutes. The idea is to whisk it vigorously until everything blends. If you need more sweetness, add a teaspoon of honey. But most people find that the cinnamon offers plenty of it naturally. Honey isn't just for taste. It also has anti-inflammatory effects and aids in the coating of your throat and digestive system for improved absorption. Drink this twice a day, once in the morning with breakfast and once in the evening, around an hour before bedtime. The nighttime dose is especially significant since your body accomplishes the majority of its repair work while you sleep, and curcumin aids that process. Many folks report improved sleep and less morning stiffness. Curcumin really regulates your circadian cycle by affecting melatonin synthesis. I should highlight something crucial about turmeric tea. It can interact with blood thinners. If you are on warfarin, Coumadin, or even daily aspirin, consult your doctor before starting turmeric tea. The combination may raise the risk of bleeding. However, for most people, turmeric tea is safer than over-the-counter pain relievers and substantially more effective for long-term joint health. NSAIDs like ibuprofen can harm your gut lining and kidneys over time, but turmeric protects these organs. There's one more advantage of turmeric tea that is rarely highlighted. It improves insulin sensitivity, which helps to retain muscle mass. As we age, our muscles become insulin resistant, preventing them from absorbing the nutrients they require to maintain strength. Turmeric reverses this resistance, basically opening the doors to your muscle cells and allowing nutrition in. According to studies, persons who consume turmeric tea on a regular basis have 23% higher insulin sensitivity than those who do not. This means that every gram of protein you consume is more likely to be converted into muscle rather than squandered. Now, I'd like to discuss a tea that most people have never considered for muscle and joint health: hibiscus tea. This ruby red tea that tastes like cranberries could be the most underappreciated tool for retaining strength and mobility after 60. While everyone is focusing on protein and calcium, they are overlooking the crucial role of circulation, which is where hibiscus tea can help. In Egypt and Sudan, where hibiscus tea, known as carcade, is the national drink, the elderly have significantly lower incidences of peripheral artery disease and preserve better mobility into old life. Here's how your circulation changes after the age of 60. Your blood vessels stiffen, your blood pressure rises, and the transport of oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and joints becomes less effective. It's like attempting to water your yard with a kinked hose. Your muscles aren't getting enough oxygen to operate properly, and your joints aren't getting the nutrients they need to heal. Hibiscus tea helps to unlink that hose. Hibiscus polyphenols, particularly delphinidin-3, sambubioside, and cyanidin-3, sambubioside, relax and stretch blood vessel walls. Hibiscus contains anthocyanins, the same molecules that give blueberries their blue color, but at extremely high amounts. These anthocyanins, which contain approximately 250 mg per cup, make your blood vessels more flexible and increase what is known as endothelial function, which is the ability of your blood vessels to expand and contract. A Tufts University study discovered that drinking 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily decreased blood pressure as effectively as medication in many patients. But more crucially for our subject, it increased circulation to the extremities by 35%. The researchers evaluated blood flow to the fingers and toes and discovered significant increases after just 6 weeks. Allow me to explain why circulation is so important for muscle strength. Your muscles require oxygen to make energy. When circulation is weak, your muscles actually suffocate on a cellular level. They are unable to manufacture the ATP, your cell's energy currency, which is required for effective contraction. This is why many people over 60 feel feeble while having adequate muscle mass. The muscle exists. Nevertheless, it cannot perform correctly without appropriate blood flow. Hibiscus tea changes the equation. It has been demonstrated to enhance capillary density, which are the tiny blood vessels that directly feed your muscle fibers, by up to 18% over 3 months. I have a client named James. I'm 69 years old and a former construction worker. His hands had gotten so feeble that he couldn't open jars anymore. His grip strength was tested at approximately 40 pounds of pressure, which is very low for a man. His doctor stated it was all due to age, and there was nothing he could do. James started drinking hibiscus tea 3 times a day, doubtful but desperate. After 6 weeks, his grip strength was measured at 58 pounds. After 3 months, it had risen to 65 pounds. He could not only open jars, but he could also resume his favorite activity, woodworking, which he had abandoned 2 years before. But here's what truly amazed him. The arthritis nodules on his knuckles, which had existed for years, began to decrease. His rheumatologist couldn't explain why, but increased circulation was aiding in the removal of inflammatory deposits. But here's what hibiscus tea does to joints that is very amazing. It helps to eliminate metabolic waste products that build up in joint areas and create inflammation. Think of your joints like a city. They generate garbage simply by carrying out their usual activities. Normally, your circulation transports this waste away. However, when circulation is inadequate, waste accumulates, producing irritation and pain. Hibiscus tea helps the waste collection service by helping to flush out these inflammatory substances. It specifically aids in the removal of uric acid crystals, which contribute to joint pain and stiffness, lowering levels by an average of 15%, according to Mexican studies. The research on hibiscus is particularly excellent in terms of knee and hip joints. A research published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine studied patients with osteoarthritis who drank hibiscus tea for 12 weeks. They reported reduced pain and increased their walking pace by an average of 20%. That may not seem like much, but walking speed is one of the most powerful predictors of general health and longevity in older persons. Every 0.1 meter per second improvement in walking speed reduces the risk of mortality by 12%. Hibiscus drinkers boosted their speed by an average of 0.2 meters per second. Hibiscus tea also serves a special purpose. It helps to prevent muscle cramps. Those terrible Charlie horses that keep you awake at night? They are frequently caused by poor circulation and electrolyte abnormalities. Hibiscus tea is naturally high in minerals such as potassium and magnesium, and its circulation-boosting properties help deliver these elements where they're needed. People who drink hibiscus tea on a regular basis report having 50% fewer muscle cramps. It also includes flavonoids, which are natural muscle relaxants that help avoid cramps. Here's how to make hibiscus tea for maximum effect. You can use either dried hibiscus blossoms or high-quality tea bags. When utilizing dried flowers, use about a tablespoon per cup of water, or 2 tablespoons for medicinal purposes. Pour boiling water over the hibiscus and leave it steep for 5 to 7 minutes. The longer you steep it, the more anthocyanins you'll extract, but it'll also get tartar. You can drink it either hot or cold, and I recommend brewing a pitcher of cold hibiscus tea to store in the fridge. Cold hibiscus tea is very pleasant and may enhance anthocyanin absorption. The optimum times to consume hibiscus tea are in the middle of the morning after lunch and early evening. Hibiscus, unlike green tea, is naturally caffeine-free, allowing you to drink it later in the day without disrupting your sleep. Many people find that evening hibiscus tea improves circulation, which helps with overnight leg cramps and restless leg syndrome. The magnesium content also improves sleep quality. There is one significant note. Hibiscus tea can have a minor diuretic effect, so you may need to urinate more frequently when first drinking it. This effect normally fades within a week or two as your body adjusts. The initial diuretic effect is really good. It helps to drain out extra salt, while also lowering fluid retention, which leads to joint swelling. Also, if you take blood pressure medication, keep a close eye on your blood pressure when you start drinking hibiscus tea, as the combination may cause it to drop too low. Some patients can reduce their prescription dosage after a few months of regular hibiscus ingestion, but only with medical supervision. You might be wondering if you have to choose just one of these teas, or if you can have all three. The answer is that combining them results in a stronger synergistic impact than any single tea alone. Each tea uses a distinct method. Green tea protects and strengthens muscle. Turmeric decreases inflammation and promotes recovery, and hibiscus increases circulation and nutrition delivery. Together, they provide a comprehensive strategy for preserving strength and joint health. Think of it like a three-legged stool. Each leg is crucial, but together, they provide support. Here's the protocol I established after working with hundreds of patients over the age of 60. Start your day with green tea about 30 minutes after breakfast. This prepares your muscles for the day's activities while also providing a modest energy boost. The EGCG levels in your blood peak roughly 2 hours after consuming, which coincides well with your morning activities. Around 10 a.m., have your first cup of hibiscus tea. This improves circulation during times when you are most likely to be active. After lunch, drink another cup of green tea to keep your EGCG levels stable. Enjoy another cup of hibiscus tea in the late afternoon, about 3 or 4 p.m. Then, approximately 1 hour before bedtime, take your turmeric golden milk. This regimen gives consistent support throughout the day while maximizing the advantages of each tea. But here's the key. Constancy is more important than perfection. If drinking 5 cups of tea every day feels overwhelming, begin with 1 of each and gradually increase. Even 1 cup of each tea per day will yield considerable advantages. People who make tea drinking a ritual, as important as brushing their teeth, see the most significant gains. Set reminders on your phone if necessary, plan your teas ahead of time, and enjoy the experience. Use your favorite cup, sit in your favorite chair, and make it a time for self-care rather than a task. I'd also like to address the elephant in the room. What if you don't enjoy tea? Start by experimenting with different preparations. Green tea with mint and honey tastes substantially different than normal green tea. Turmeric tea with coconut milk and cinnamon tastes like dessert. Hibiscus tea with a splash of apple juice tastes similar to fruit punch. Second, remember that your taste buds evolve and adapt. What appears weird or bitter at first may turn enjoyable after a week or two. Third, consider it medicine that happens to be delightful rather than a healthy beverage. You can also incorporate these teas into smoothies or make tea ice cubes to drink throughout the day. Let me quickly explain why these 3 teas work so well together, as understanding the mechanism increases your likelihood of sticking with it. Your muscles and joints are always undergoing breakdown and repair. After 60, the breakdown accelerates while the repair slows. Green tea delays the breakdown by shielding muscle cells from oxidative stress and inflammatory cytokines. Turmeric speeds up the healing process by lowering inflammation and enhancing the cellular environment for regeneration. Hibiscus improves your circulation's delivery system, allowing for efficient protection and restoration. It's similar to home renovations. Green tea is a security technique that deters vandalism. Turmeric is the construction staff responsible for the repairs. Hibiscus is the supply truck that transports materials and clears debris. To get the best results, you need all 3. According to studies, those who mix anti-inflammatory therapies with circulation improvement achieve 3 times greater results than those who rely solely on one method. The timetable for outcomes varies, but this is what most people encounter. Within the first week, you will experience decreased morning stiffness and increased vitality. By week 2, you may notice that daily duties become easier. By week 4, you should notice measurable gains in strength and mobility. By week 8, the changes are usually significant enough that others notice and ask what you've been doing differently. Look, I understand you have tried everything. There have been supplements that did not work, exercises that were too painful, and treatments with terrible side effects. But these teas are different. They have been utilized for thousands of years. They're backed by modern science and act alongside your body rather than against it. You do not need a prescription. You do not need a gym membership. You do not have to fully overhaul your life. You only need to sip tea. Start tomorrow. Pick 1 tea and commit to drinking it every day for 2 weeks. I recommend starting with turmeric if you have joint discomfort, green tea if you have muscle weakness, and hibiscus if you have circulation problems or high blood pressure. After 2 weeks, add the second tea. After 1 month, add the third. Take a photograph of yourself today. Write down how you feel and what you're struggling with. Do the same thing in 60 days. I guarantee you'll be astounded by the change. Your body has not given up on you. It is waiting for you to give it the resources it requires to recover and strengthen itself. These 3 teas are the tools. The question is not whether they will function. The question is whether you'll give them the opportunity to change your life. Your stronger, more mobile, and pain-free future begins with a simple cup of tea. Which one will you brew first? If this video impacted your heart in any way, please let me know by liking it, sharing it with someone you care about, or leaving a comment. And if you want to continue walking this path with me, studying health, healing, and deeper living in your elderly years, be sure to subscribe and touch the bell button. Every week, I'll be right here with you, telling everyone that we're still alive.